The Medium is a psychological horror published and developed by Bloober Team. The story follows Marianne, a medium who can travel back and forth between the normal plane of existence and another plane where she helps people who have just died kind of carry over to the other world. Marianne's foster father, at the beginning of the story, had just died. While she was grieving, Marianne receives a phone call from a man named Thomas, who knows of her supernatural ability to communicate with the dead. Thomas offers to explain the origin of Marianne's power, as well as the meaning of a disturbing reoccurring nightmare she has of a young girl being murdered at a lake. However, Thomas will only talk to Marianne if she meets him at a Neva workers' resort, an abandoned vacation resort in the Polish wilderness, and that is what kind of sets up our story and kind of pushes Marianne forward to try to figure out who is Thomas and what is the meaning behind her powers and how she got them.
We're closed. There's another funeral home across town. I can give you the number.
Marianne.
Who is this?
You don't know me, Marianne, but I know you.
Look, if this is a joke...
You need to listen to me, Marianne.
Okay, I'm hanging up.
I know what you are.
What? Who is this?
My name is Thomas. I need your help.
Listen, if that's all you've got, I'm...
No, there's more. I can give you the answers you've been looking for your whole life. But I need you to trust me.
Trust you?
In my opinion, the story starts off kind of slow. It kind of made me really nervous that the story was going to be boring or just not what it could be based on what my expectations were looking at those trailers. But the story did start to pick up as it went on a little bit, especially once it reached closer to the midway point. It definitely picked up a lot. And then I started to enjoy the story, and I enjoyed it overall for the most part. It was uneven at times, but overall, I did enjoy it, and it kept me intrigued all the way through. The background voices in this game can send chills down your spine. Just the things they say, some of this fucked up shit that they say, it just gives you this eerie feel that lets you know that you are in trouble and you need to get the hell out of there. Also, I thought it would be good for me to point out that there is a trigger warning in this game because the game does deal with issues of verbal and physical child abuse. So if that is something that can easily upset you or make you feel a certain way, then this game may not be for you. I don't usually go too in-depth in the story stuff in my reviews because I like to keep it spoilers-free, but I figured that had to be known for anyone who may easily be upset by that subject matter. So if that is something that does upset you, just keep that in mind. That is here. The gameplay basically boils down to it's half puzzle game and half survival horror. Sometimes you'll run into split screen mode, meaning that you're controlling Marianne in both the normal world and the other realm of the dead. You can get to an area in one realm, but not in the other. So you must find a way through puzzles and other means to get both versions of Marianne where they need to go. One of the things that the game allows you to do is by holding B, at least on an Xbox controller, because that's what I played it with, you're able to take control of the Marianne that is just in the other realm, the realm of the dead. And then through that, you can move freely around with that version of the character, as sometimes you need to do that to help get the Marianne in the real world through that same door. So sometimes you need to go just in the other realm, and maybe you need to open something in that realm to open the door in the real world for Marianne in both realms to move through. Now that version is timed. You'll slowly see that version of Marianne start to slowly disintegrate, and so you have to watch out for that because you can hold B again and then leave that mode. You want to watch out for that because you could potentially die in that mode if you're in it for too long. You can see it as that realm's version of Marianne slowly starts to disintegrate as you're in that mode. So the game really makes you think on how to complete each puzzle. They do a decent job of making sure the puzzles don't really get repetitive. Some puzzles are nothing special, while others are inventive on how they play back and forth between the realms to completely finish the puzzle. Some of the puzzles, just in general, are just visually impressive and nice to look at. There was a clock one where you spin the clock, and then in the other realm, it kind of made things change and stuff like that. That puzzle is really cool, as you could actually see things visually changing as you spun the clock in the normal world in that other realm. So like I said, it's half puzzle and half survival horror. And that part of it is survival horror, you do a lot of hiding and sneaking by enemies, since you don't really have like weapons outside the light shield that can be used to get through moths that can be in your way in different parts of the map. And also flashes of light, but these are mostly used to give electricity to generators. That helps in the puzzles. But mostly you're going to be sneaking by enemies, trying not to be seen, because that is just the core of this game. It's mostly puzzles. There's some sneaking around, survival horror to it, but I would say mostly it's a puzzle game. A tip from me is, when you're not in danger, just run everywhere. Marianne walks just so unbelievably slow that it takes you forever to get anywhere. Just, because even when you're running in some places, it's just like a slow jog, but that's better than her normal walk, because even her slow jog is kind of slow at times. She really doesn't like going anywhere at any kind of speed. So if you can run everywhere, it'll save you a ton of time, and a lot of time, because otherwise, I feel like it would be boring if you were just walking everywhere. Now, I did have the game crash on me about 4 times, and there weren't a lot of bugs, but some of the ones I did run into were pretty funny. Yeah, the running animation, it's like a slight jogger. What the Why are we both in the same area? That's a glitch. We should not both be in the same area, but that's fine. So you may be asking yourself, are there collectibles? Yes, there are. Between photos, sometimes you have these photos, they're just blank. You have to go to a dark room and then do the photo, run it in light for 5 seconds, and then in the liquid in the right order to show the picture. You have postcards that have things written on it, and other notes that from people in those areas that get more background of the area you're in. But the biggest collectibles in the game are echoes. These are remnants of people left on objects, and you'll find these pretty much everywhere in the world, from payphones to teddy bears and all objects in between. You'll get a lot of insight from these overall, both just random knowledge and for story purposes, so it's smart to do as many of these as you can. Now, the story purpose ones, they probably force you to get, for the most part, at least most of them, to actually get information that you need. But some of these other ones could also be helpful, and they're kind of layered about. So it's always good to keep your eye out for it. Always use, at least on the Xbox controller, I think it was LB, to use your focus mode to make sure that there isn't something on an object that you picked up that doesn't have more to it than what meets the eye. But outside of that, those are pretty much all the collectibles. Some of the echoes can be found in the weirdest places, so make sure to look pretty much everywhere to make sure you find all of these objects. I mean, outside that, the game's mostly pretty straightforward overall. So that leads us to our final score. So this one was a tough one, as it was kind of off and on. I was enjoying myself, and then there were parts where I wasn't enjoying myself as much, and then there's parts where I really enjoyed it. This game was kind of all over the place in that sense. I think there's a lot of innovative ideas here, just a lot of innovative ideas. Just be able going back and forth between realms, the way they do it, the puzzles. There's so much potential here that if they do make a sequel, I'm all for it. But in terms of this particular game, I'm going to have to go with a 7 out of 10. There was potential for this game to be even higher than that. Maybe if they brought more elements into it and stuff like that. Maybe they just didn't turn it into a puzzle game. But in terms of Bluebird Team, I enjoyed this a lot more than I enjoyed Layers of Fear. I didn't enjoy that as much. That was also made by this team. If you didn't know, I'm not randomly calling out Layers of Fear. But I think this game, if they decide to go for a sequel, has all the potential in the world. They can build off of this. They got something here. They just got to keep building off of it and just go from there. But this is a really good first effort. for Bloober Team on this game. I like the idea, like I said, of just the realms, just the way it works, because you could do so much with it, and I hope they do. I hope they keep pushing forward with this, and they do the best they can to make this something special, because it has that potential. But that being said, that is going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the videos we've been putting out, please subscribe, hit the like button. We would appreciate it. We just put out our top 10 games of the year and our bottom 10 games of the year. That video is on the channel. If that interests you, you can check that out. But outside that, that is going to do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Bye, guys.